I left New York for good, like a lot of other Americans, not going back. I now live full-time in Florida, the Free State. This is something I've wanted to do for years. Millions of people are shocked and shocked. Sean Hannity, a big name on Fox News who is known for being angry and powerful, starts crying and quits live on radio. There are rumors like this going around the internet, but Hannity has not left the network. He still runs his show every night. There has been no formal word about a departure. What if he did? Even though it's just a guess, such a move would cause a lot of shock in the media and in politics. There would be a lot of comments on X, Facebook, and TikTok, and Hannity Resigns would be at the top of trending lists. In this article, we'll talk about what might happen if he quits. Stories in the media are changing, and Fox News might have to deal with problems without one of its most important people. Sean Hannity has been a major figure in American politics and media for more than 20 years. He is a staunch supporter of conservative ideas and can be seen every night in living rooms across the country. There have been rumors lately that someone might quit, which no one saw coming. As of now, the rumor is still just that, but it's worth looking at what might happen in the media and politics if this were to happen. We need to look at his rise first in order to fully understand how important he is to Fox News, politics, and maybe even elections. The rise of an on-air legend, Sean Hannity went from growing up in a modest family on Long Island to becoming one of the most influential conservative media figures in the United States. His story is one of drive, media savvy, and a constant connection to the Republican grassroots. His rise to the top of Republican politics and his huge impact on Fox News are not just the story of one broadcaster, but of how conservative media changed the political scene in the United States. His family was Irish Catholic and came from a working-class background. He was born on December 30th, 1961 in Franklin Square, New York. For him, working hard and not giving up shaped his early years, traits that would help him rise in the end. Before the shiny studios and primetime spots, he worked as a construction worker and in a restaurant, but he always had a passion for broadcasting. He got into radio as a teenager because it made voices from far away sound like they were talking to him. He started his career in the late 1980s, but things didn't go well at the start. His first big show was at Santa Barbara, California's KCSB-FM. Even though he hadn't gone to school for writing, his voice had a conviction, intensity, and cadence that would become his trademark. Because he wasn't afraid to be confrontational, his time at KCSB didn't last long, but that only made him more determined. After seeing how well Rush Limbaugh did on talk radio and the growth of AM radio, he quickly switched to the new world of right talk radio. In the early 1990s, Sean Hannity was building his reputation as a sharp, passionate conservative defender and a voice for people who didn't feel like their voices were being heard by major media. His broadcasts were not full of small talk about politics. Instead, they were emotional and had a casual tone, as if he were a neighbor talking directly to the people who are frustrated in the middle of the United States. Fox News' start in 1996 was a big deal for him. Roger Ailes came up with the idea for the network, which was meant to attract conservative viewers who felt like CNN and the other major networks were ignoring them. He was a perfect fit right away, representing the tough but friendly character that could move people. When he was on the show Hannity and Colmes with liberal analyst Alan Colmes, he was the fiery conservative who pushed back against Colmes. His side of the argument often hit home with viewers more. His radio show, The Sean Hannity Show, was picked up by stations all over the country and listened to by millions of people. Having a radio show during the day and a TV show at night gave him a unique way to shape Republican ideas and direction. He did more than just write about conservative politics. He became a force that helped move it forward. His rise was sped up by the time after 9/11 and during George W. Bush's leadership. He was a strong voice in support of the War on Terror, the Iraq War, and Democratic opponents. He did this with a mix of righteous anger and patriotic fervor. His programs weren't lectures for the people who heard them. Instead, they were angry fight cries. He spoke to a scared and angry country and portrayed himself as a strong protector of American values against what people saw as liberal and foreign threats. The Obama years only made Sean's role in Republican debates stronger. Since Democrats were in charge of the White House, he set himself up as the steadfast enemy, which made conservatives' complaints stronger, and calling attention to laws like the Affordable Care Act as dangers to American freedom that could destroy the country. His nightly monologues told a story of cultural and political battle that energized his audience and helped Republicans fight back against Obama's rule. When Hannity and Colmes retired in 2009, he became the only owner of his primetime show, which is now just called Hannity. Since he wasn't in an argument, he was free to show his whole personality, which was direct, emotional, and blatantly political. His show became a strong way for conservatives to get their message out. It had long-form monologues, exclusive interviews, and recurring themes that often set the tone for the GOP conversation as a whole. In 2010, he solidified his position as a major figure in both the media and politics. As populism grew and people became less trusting of established institutions, the Tea Party wave and other movements that supported it all worked in his favor. He made it possible for extreme conservatives to be heard across the country and became a trusted link between the party's members and its leaders. Then came 2016, which was the year when he had the most power. His harsh campaign for president was perfect for the kind of media that he uses. While other right commentators wavered, he went all in, supporting them no matter what and amplifying their voices every night. It was hard to tell the difference between a commentator and an advocate on his shows, which made him an even more powerful figure and a trusted advisor to the ultimate president. His interviews with Donald Trump were more like strategy sessions than interviews with a reporter, and his backing made Donald's connection with conservative Americans stronger. During the Trump administration, Sean was the official Republican Party spokesperson for the media. His show was a place to talk about new policies, keeping the damage down and mobilizing the base. Lawmakers from the Republican Party wanted his support because they knew that his support or criticism could affect millions of people. He was more than just a host at Fox News. He had become a rock, a royalty figure, and a ratings powerhouse who embodied the network's brand and strategy. You can't say enough about how important Sean is to Fox News. He made sure the show always had good ratings, built a loyal audience, and helped make the network the center of conservative thought. He was more than just a speaker. He was a cultural force that changed not only the stories conservatives read, but also how they thought about their role in American politics. To get to the top of Republican political talk, Sean Hannity had to be smart about timing, persistent, and form a strong bond with his audience. He turned the grit of talk radio into the power of TV, and the power of TV into the power to change politics. It was for Dika. This made him a key figure in the history of Fox News and the Republican movement, so it makes sense that the thought of him leaving his throne suddenly set off shockwaves in all the areas where he had power, among both supporters and opponents. The results of a sudden exit make everyone run around in a panic. Once more, a day in the world of conservative media would start like any other, with people looking forward to his evening show, which would be full of the usual partisan fights. On that one day, Sean's normally strong presence would seem weak. His voice would be measured and precise, and every word would carry the weight of unspoken turmoil. His speech would be unusually slow, as if he were struggling to stay calm with each line. People would lean in closer, knowing that something important was about to happen. Then, without any setup or preamble, the bad news: "I'm leaving this desk tonight." The words would sound like thunder in the air. His sudden, tearful departure on live TV would shock people all over the United States in politics, the media, and culture, affecting many areas in ways that not many people could have expected. For a famous TV host, the event would be more than just the end of their job. In the middle of American politics, it would be like setting off a bomb. As the video of him crying at his Fox News desk played over and over on social media, the effects on politics, the media, and even how people around the world see him started to become clear. In the world of media, his leaving will be like a cathedral pillar falling suddenly. He was an important support structure for Fox News and a leading voice in right broadcasting. Thousands of loyal fans had seen him on primetime for more than 20 years, making him a huge star in the ratings. His show did more than just report the news. It defined it for a large part of the aim. Riken people. Right after, things will be crazy at Fox News. Executives would rush to fill the huge void in their primetime schedule because they knew that without Sean, they would lose a big chunk of their viewers. As analysts expect a short-term drop in ratings that could lead to long-term market weakness, advertisers who are always wary of change will start to rethink their commitments. Different networks that are competing will act in various ways. CNN and MSNBC will definitely spend hours of live coverage breaking down the resignation, painting it as a turning point in the fall of the conservative media environment. Progressive critics are likely to cheer this event as proof that Fox News, which was once untouchable, is about to become unstable. At the same time, independent platforms and new media sites leaning to the right saw a chance to get Sean's audience or fill the gap in conservative thought leadership. The Republican Party would be the one to feel the shock the most. Sean has done more than just host shows. He plans the GOP's messages and acts as a link between the party's leaders and its members. His show was a place where politicians and presidential candidates could try out slogans, talking points, and policy stances. His voice went quiet all of a sudden, leaving the party without any messages. Behind closed doors, GOP leaders were talking about a new problem: how to inspire and lead a group that watches Sean Hannity every night to help them find their way on the partisan battlefield. Candidates whose campaign plans used to depend on getting on a popular Hannity show will now be scrambling to find new media partners. His departure could also be felt among donors, where powerful conservatives might start to worry that the party's main messages might get lost without Sean's support. Strategically, this kind of departure could lead to a reorganization within the company. Without his steadying impact, rival groups in the GOP, Trump supporters, establishment figures, and new populist voices would probably fight harder for. Democrats and progressive strategists on the other side of the line would likely be surprised and cautious at the same time. Some people might be happy about what they see as the downfall of a conservative media giant, while others might be more cautious, knowing that such a big change in the media environment could have effects that are hard to predict. Some Democratic planners might think that his leaving could initially make Republicans less excited about voting, giving them a short-term edge in the messaging wars. They might be afraid, though, that the void will be filled by more extreme views, which could make some conservatives more radical in ways that would be harder to stop. It would be bad for mainstream Republican media to lose Sean Hannity, but it could also be the start of a new age of opposition media that is more scattered and hard to predict. A resignation like this would almost certainly be noticed by other countries' governments and political experts who keep a close eye on American political media. Many people agree that he had an impact on the Trump administration. People who study foreign policy might wonder if his departure could change the tone of U.S. discourse in ways that could affect diplomatic stories. Sean Hannity's possible departure would be talked about in more places than just the halls of power. It might have an effect on American society. Millions of loyal fans, many of whom watch his show every day, would feel very close to him if he left the show crying. People would probably be sad and happy about it on social media at the same time. Along with memes that praise or make fun of his breakdown, hashtags like Hannity Farewell could become popular. On the right front lines, radio shows and Facebook groups may be full of people's strong feelings. Many people would feel let down, and others would make wild guesses about why Hannity quit, ranging from personal problems to political pressure. The emotional impact would show how closely Hannity's persona has become connected with the identity of a part of the American public. Of course, such sudden and dramatic changes are a great place for guesswork and uncertainty. Sean Hannity's sudden and emotional resignation from Fox News would cause waves in the political media landscape, sparking guesswork, analysis, and anxiety across many areas. He imagined leaving on live TV with a shaking voice. This would be the end of an age for conservative media and bring up important questions about how Republicans will talk about issues before the 2026 midterms. If there isn't an immediate and detailed explanation for such a choice, there will be a lot of guessing. Would it be because of pressure from Fox News behind the scenes, a problem in your life or health, or a quick loss of faith in the political machine he has worked for decades to build? The consequences of each theory would be different. Without direction, people would become more interested in his possible departure. Analysts in the media would quickly point out that the Republicans couldn't have picked a worse time. With a tough election season coming up, losing its most trusted media partner could make it hard to plan its campaign. Some theorists might even say that such a resignation could give Fox News critics more confidence, speed up the rise of competing conservative networks, and give Democrats a short-term edge in shaping the national conversation. The GOP would be without one of its most trusted communicators if Sean disappeared all of a sudden. He has been a nightly translator of the day's political storms for decades, turning complicated stories into clear, interesting stories that millions of loyal watchers can't get enough of. His show is more than just a T commentary. It's a regular rallying point for Republicans, keeping them united and getting the base excited. Without his stable voice, the party might not be able to get its message across at a GOP leaders would have to quickly figure out how to get his supporters excited again since they have long relied on his familiar tone of comfort and determination. Such a change would have political effects that go beyond short-term message. His made-up departure is inextricably linked to Tucker Carlson's sudden firing from Fox News in 2023. A moment that shook the world of right media. Tucker's firing caused a drop in primetime ratings right away, split the Republican base, and pushed viewers to smaller, less regulated digital platforms. Short-term, this decentralization caused chaos as loyal viewers tried to find a voice they could trust. and some of the base turned to more extreme, disjointed stories. Even though Fox got back on track in the end, that departure was a stark reminder of how strongly political outcomes are tied to the personalities that control partisan media today. That's how Sean's possible departure would work out. Tucker's viewers tended to be younger and less stable, while Sean's viewers are older, more stable, and deeply rooted in standard TV. His leaving could make it easier for conservative audiences to move to decentralized, unpredictable places like podcasts, streaming platforms, and online personalities, which would weaken centralized messaging even more. In an election cycle like the next one, which is likely to be very close, this division could lead to results that were not expected. Extremely active parts of the right might get more involved during the primaries, but confusing messages could hurt them in the general election, leaving Democrats with the chance to define Republicans in swing areas without a nightly check. Also, if the GOP took such a step away, it would lose its most reliable defense against media stories. His platform has been the first thing people have used to respond to Democratic messages, policy fights, and new scandals for years. In a lot of ways, this could mean the start of a new, uncertain age. The departure of Hannity and the earlier changes at Tucker Carlson may be signs of the end of centralized conservative media power, and community of podcasters, influencers, and digital commentators who have a wide range of effects that are hard to predict could take its place. Both sides would face risks and benefits from this decentralization. Republicans may get more people to speak out, but they may lose direction. The Democrats may have had some breathing room, but soon they will have to deal with an opposition that is louder, angry, and less tied to institutional control. It's safe to say that Sean's leaving would be more than just a personal choice if the rumors ever start to come true. It could shake up politics in a way that changes the next election and beyond. When a media giant falls, the effects are felt in more than just the numbers. They affect how campaigns are run, how people get out to vote, and even the balance of power. What do you think might happen now that he has quit? Write your answer in the box below. Thanks for seeing. Click play on the movie you want to watch to see more fun ones. Also, don't forget to hit the bell, like, and follow so you know when a new video comes out.